Coming up on the Pioneer Sideline, running away. Find out which cross-country runner earned top marks in this season's first meet.
Offensive surge. Guess which Point Park team coasted to their first win of the season?
Browns all the way. Hear what happened in the first week of the NFL season and who our reporters think will win it all. It's time to come on down to the Pioneer Sideline. Welcome back to another year of the Pioneer Sideline, the longest running show here at UView. I'm Sarah Maculin, joined this semester by my new co-host, Mike Turk, who has been a part of Sideline even longer than I have.
Yeah, Sarah, you know, it's really an honor to be next to you here at the desk. I've been waiting for this since I came here as a freshman 4 years ago now, and I'm ready to do it this 2018-2019 season and put on a good show again.
Well, yes, we're so glad to have you. But now it's time to get back into business with the Point Park volleyball team. The women's volleyball team has started the season off a little slow, 4-5, under new head coach.
Yes, Coach B just stepped in for Coach Bruno last year, and the Pioneers have their first home game of the season against IU East. And to talk more about volleyball, we have Nicole Pampina joining us in studio. Now, Nicole, I just said Coach Bielich is taking over for Coach Bruno. How have the players responded to her stepping up so far this season?
Well, I haven't personally seen them play so far, but I've heard that it's a very positive change so far. The players are excited to come to practice. They're excited to get their hands dirty and get to work. It's a much more positive environment where it's encouraging. It's you know, helpful criticism in a way that has pushed the team in the right direction and given them that camaraderie they need. So that's definitely helped. Also, Shiloh Simonson's come back. She last played for the team in 2016. She was their outside hitter, and she'll be stepping in as assistant coach. And so far, just having that familiarity with the team and just being used to how they function, being used to Bielich has helped the team as well.
Now, I mentioned they've gotten off to a kind of okay start, almost 500, 4-5. But they haven't gotten to conference play yet, and that's coming, like you said, this Friday. So how important is it for Point Park to come in this game against their rival and get that first win in conference play?
I think the key word there is rival. They came in second with IU East last year in 2017 in the RSC division. So I think just coming back and proving themselves again, didn't lose too many seniors, but they still have that strength there. They have Taylor back in the front row. She hit her 1,000 kills in the first weekend of the season. They have Tucker back. They have Rosier back. Dixon is in the front row. Very strong front row, very strong offense coming back, and just finally getting into that groove, not missing as many serves is what it's going to take to take down IU East and get that first RSC win.
Now, you mentioned Ashley Taylor getting killed number 1,000. That was a huge moment here. One of 6 players, Point Park Volleyball, to get into the 1,000 career kill club. Now, you played with her at North Hills,
right.
So how does it feel to have one of your ex-teammates reach such a awesome milestone here at Point Park?
Well, I see that article and I see North Hills and I can't help but feel proud. She's fun to play with. She's a great leader on the court, and I'm just really happy that she was able to hit that milestone as she heads into her last season with the team.
Well, thank you very much, Nicole. We look forward to your coverage all season long. And now, Ashley Taylor isn't the only one breaking records here at Point Park. We also have Anna Shields, who's been doing another stupendous job here at Point Park for the cross-country team.
Yes, and to discuss the cross-country team and their season and what it looks like, we bring in Nick Kosiski, our cross-country insider. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with Anna Shields. It was the first thing Mike mentioned. It's kind of the first thing everyone mentions when it comes to the cross-country team. She placed first at their first meet of the season, which isn't unfamiliar territory for her. But what can we expect this season? What more can Anna Shields do?
Definitely lots more first places. I mean, Sherry won both the meets so far, and I'm sure she's going to do great at Lock Haven too. And it's good to have, you know, a leader like her in a team, especially with so many new people the team picked up. And I think that she's already making an impact. I mean, 4 of the new girls on the team are varsity, and these are new runners. And the women's cross-country team recently received a national ranking. They're ranked number 17, but that's the first time the women's cross-country team ever received a national ranking. So that's a big deal. So I think Anna Shields, though, is to continue to keep doing great. Hopefully we'll have her for an interview one of these times.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah, well, Anna Shields is a name you're going to hear a lot
Yeah.
this year at Pioneer Sideline. Now, besides Anna Shields, Nick, can you give us a couple other runners we can look forward to watching this year?
I got a section here called shout-outs.
Attaboy.
Shout out to my man, Doug Kostolinsky, Camden Seibert, Connor Wright, and then on the women's, Reba Bartram and Alyssa Campbell. Both those girls are, like I said before, they're new to the team. Reba did track, but she's doing cross now, and all those people I just named, they have been doing amazing, PRing, really improving.
So now, they didn't do too hot in their last meet. Men placed 6 out of 7,
Yeah.
women 6 out of 9.
Yep.
So what can we expect coming forward in this young season?
I think we can just expect more like lower scoring, because I think packs are starting to form, and that's good. People are still trying to figure out their pace and who to pace with. But I think later in the season, you're going to see like a lot of people pace together. That way, people are bringing other people in at those, quicker times. And then that's how you get your scores lower, and then that's when you'll see that 6 go to a 1, hopefully. But
Nick, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you here in the studio, buddy. Well, when we come back, find out which Point Park soccer team picked up a couple early wins in the young season. And how did the Steelers fare in Week 1? We'll have all that and more next.
T. Why should you watch and focus?
Because why not?
Turn. Why should you watch and focus?
Because I produce it.
Welcome to In Focus.
Hello. This is so we don't run out of time.
Put up a goal just
Right.
because it.
And a little bit closer, please. Let me bring this in. Yeah, I wanted to do a game. So game time. All right, game over.
Yay.
Oh wow. Did we get that? There he is. Why do you watch and focus? Because in focus is great. Chris! Game time! Game time!
it's not game time. It's a promo.
Start your morning with us. I'm your host, Jess Paterchek.
And I'm your host, Alex Groves.
Good morning and welcome to another episode
That is what
of
happened at the
Daybreak. I'm your
Cathedral
host,
on Monday.
WPXI, the state wants to take
Monday.
$357 million out of a trust fund that is typically
wintry mixed stuff could get me.
I'm gonna care for you.
What up?
the diva himself. Only on Daybreak.
55% of all U.S. multiracial adults have been subjected to racial slurs or jokes.
Where were you born? Being smart, pale, or Filipino, to go back to Mexico.
There goes that black boy over there. You like fried chicken because you're light skinned. You are a cock. You think that you're better than us. The N-word.
Good at jumping or climbing. Border hopper. Made taco. English your second language. Where's your green card?
Cut the jokes. Stop the stereotypes.
Welcome back. The start of the school year also meant the start of the 2018 season for the Point Park men's and women's soccer teams.
The men's team picked up 2 early wins in their first 2 matches of the season. To discuss those performances and the outlook for the men this year, we bring in Megan Masiosi.
So Megan, the men haven't got off to a great start, but it's not terrible. What can we expect from the men this season?
You're going to expect a lot of offense. In their last game, even though they did lose to the University of Pikeville, they had 14 shots. 6 of them were on goal. So this is more offense for the team than what they've seen in the past couple of years. So I expect a lot of high-powered offense, but they just need to find the back of the net because they only did have 1 goal in that 2-1 loss.
Now, Point Park plays in the River States Conference East Division here. Very competitive this season, as it always is. Rio Grande, top of the pack, number 9 in the country right now. Then you have West Virginia Tech, who's currently receiving votes. How can Point Park stay with those top dogs in the East Division this season?
Since they do have such a high-powered offense this year, they need to find the back of the net. So in practice, it needs to be shooting drills. Their defenses look pretty good. Between Harriet Bale and Kai Intoven, They're pretty strong. They have strong, powerful leadership on both sides of the ball. It's just getting the rest of the team to click because they did lose a couple of seniors from this last year. So I think as soon as they start to mesh a little bit more, they'll do well. But Rio Grande, they're always difficult. I don't see that game going very well for the Pioneers.
Now you mentioned losing a couple seniors and the offensive power. Now those seniors they lost were on defense and Paul Carr and Josh Williams. So who can you look forward to step up in their place and lead this team?
It's definitely going to have to be Kai Inovan because he has started all 5 games. He's actually contributed 4 points, so he's the second leader on the team within points, not goals. That's obviously Bale on the offense. But he needs to step up. He needs to control that defense. They need to set the defensive trap a little bit more, pushing up, help out the offense since they did lose it. But I don't know. I mean, they have a very tough conference. The defense is definitely going to be their weakest point this year.
Well, thanks, Megan. Now we're going to switch gears to the women's team, who's looking to bounce back after a heartbreaking loss in last year's River State's conference tournament.
And after 5 games this season, the women sit at a record of 1-4. Our reporter Kiera Fry joins us in studio now to talk about the slow start for the women's soccer team. Now, Kiera, how have they looked so far? We understand they're 1-4, but they had a tough loss against Lourdes at home, 1-0 in the final 5 seconds. Outside of that, how have they been looking so far this season?
I don't think that they've been looking too bad, but you do have to take into consideration how young the people that have been playing are. Most of the people that have been in so far have been freshmen and sophomores, so they don't have a whole lot of experience compared to more experienced teams. So I think that definitely plays a role in it, but they have been shooting, and there have been a lot of new girls who have gotten their first goal, which is a great way to start the season, a little bit of confidence for them. And I think that that'll definitely contribute to them just doing better and feeling more comfortable since a lot of them are young.
Yeah, and you mentioned a lot of them are young, and they lost Izzy Hunter last year, which was a big goal scorer for them. What are some of the key players, even though you mentioned they're young, there's still some returners that can fill that leadership role?
I think it's really hard to say right now because a lot of the older girls haven't been scoring as much as the younger girls have, which has been surprising. But their defense has been really strong with the upperclassmen. So I think that it will take defensive leaders to really lead the team.
Now, last question for you, Kiera. Maggie Kuhn, head coach. This is her 7th year here at Point Park. Now, she's made the River State's conference tournament playoffs these past 6 years since she's been here. How does she make it number 7 this year?
I think that she needs to definitely work with the younger players and get them used to playing more, get them comfortable on the field and with the older girls, and also do a lot of shooting practice because they had a lot of shots that they didn't make. But I think that the 7-0 win against Pikesville is definitely a confidence boost in that area. So I think that she just needs to really drive those skills home.
Well, thanks, Kiera, for joining us today. And coming up next, who stood out in the first week of NFL play? And later, how is the season wrapping up for the Pittsburgh Pirates? Find out next. Don't go anywhere.
Was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be.
Spending just 7 minutes climbing stairs each day cuts your risk of a heart attack in half over 10 years. Sure, elevators are convenient, but you burn twice the number of calories just going upstairs than you do while jogging. Think about how long you spend waiting for elevators. The average person spends the equivalent of 2 years waiting for elevators over the course of their lifetime. Don't let that be you. Save time and increase energy. Next time, take the stairs.
Let's go.
Welcome back. The Pittsburgh Steelers began their season in Cleveland on Sunday, and it didn't turn out how most expected.
And to discuss the game and what other big game Pittsburghers were watching closely this weekend, we send things over to Taylor Spirito with our regional report. Taylor.
Thanks, guys. Football is back, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a splash with their first game of the season, but not in the way most were expecting. In a sudden turn, the Steelers walked away from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland with a tie against the Cleveland Browns. The tie comes after Ben Roethlisberger threw 6 interceptions, including a strip sack in the late minutes of the game, which gave the Browns the opportunity to bring about the tie. This is the first time since 1971 that a Week 1 game has ended in a tie, and the first tie for the Black and Gold since 2002. On a more positive note, sophomore running back and University of Pittsburgh graduate James Conner really stepped it up for the Steelers with the absence of their go-to running back Le'Veon Bell among contract disputes. Conner scored his first NFL touchdown to put the Steelers on the board first in the contest. The Steelers are back in action on Sunday at 1 p.m. in their home opener against the Kansas City Chiefs. Onto the baseball diamond, the Pittsburgh Pirates are looking forward to 2019 as their season comes to an end, but that doesn't mean they'll be letting up on the gas anytime soon. The Buccos recently swept the Cincinnati Reds at home and are finishing up a series with the St. Louis Cardinals. Their minor league systems, on the other hand, have already finished up their seasons. The AAA affiliate Indianapolis Indians ended the season at 73-67, just a few games shy of the playoffs. The AA affiliate Altoona Curve made the playoffs, but fell to the Cleveland Indians affiliate Akron Rubber Ducks, 3-1. The Pirates still have some baseball left to be played, though. You can catch them at PNC Park on Monday the 17th versus the Kansas City Royals.
So bringing it back to the Steelers. Now, the big thing is everyone's talking about Le'Veon Bell. Now, do you think his absence on Sunday affected the team, both from a game standpoint and the mental effect that it had on some of his fellow teammates?
I mean, when you hear about the Steelers, you hear about the 3 Bs, Ben, Bell, and Brown. Obviously, the absence of Le'Veon Bell has affected them mentally and just in their game in general. But like I said before, James Conner really did step it up, especially coming back from last season with his, he got injured last season. He came back with a vengeance, scored his first touchdown. He actually also scored his second touchdown. So while their absence of Bell did hurt them, I think that James Conner, had a great time just stepping into his shoes and filling a hole that he left. Even if they did end it with a tie, he still walked away with a personal win, in my opinion.
Well, thanks, Taylor. And now the Steelers tying the Browns wasn't the only exciting thing to happen in the opening weekend of the NFL. To recap the kickoff of the NFL season, we have our reporter, Aaron Becker, in studio. Aaron?
Like Taylor said, NFL football is officially back, and the Week 1 games were nothing but entertaining. With lots of different faces and new places, previous stars shined, and new stars were born. The NFL season kicked off last Thursday night as the Falcons traveled to Philadelphia to face the defending champion Eagles, and the outcome was very similar to last season as the Eagles' defense was dominant and came out on top 18-12. The Steelers went to Cleveland to take on a revamped Browns team with 10 new starters, and it was a battle in bad conditions as the game had a total of 7 turnovers and 2 missed potential game-winning field goals in overtime by each team. The final, 21-21, the first Week 1 tie since 1971. Kirk Cousins won his debut with the Minnesota Vikings against the 49ers, handing Jimmy Garoppolo his first career loss, 24-16. And the Buccaneers, led by Ryan Fitzpatrick, stunned the Saints in a 48-40 shootout in the highest scoring opener in Super Bowl era. The Jacksonville Jaguars held on against the New York Giants 20-15 as the number 2 overall pick Saquon Barkley rushed for over 100 yards and a touchdown in his debut. And Adrian Peterson scored his 100th career rushing touchdown in the Redskins' 24-6 win over the Arizona Cardinals. And last but not least, after exiting the game with a knee injury, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers made an incredible comeback Sunday night to win 24-23 after being down 20-0 to the Bears. Even after Khalil Mack dominated in his debut, having a sack, an interception for a touchdown, and a fumble recovery. So, after a great first weekend of football, the NFL is looking forward to having another exciting season.
Now, Aaron, I want to talk about Packers and Bears again. You touched on it. Khalil Mack changing from the Oakland Raiders over to the Chicago Bears. A lot of drama going on there, but he really stepped up in the big game. And Aaron Rodgers down 20-0. You got him leading the Packers to a comeback. Who was a more impressive performer in that Sunday night game?
Well, they both performed exceptionally, but I have to give it to Aaron Rodgers. He left the game on a cart, and when you see a player leaving the game on a cart, they don't, you don't usually see players come back out of the stadium. When Aaron Rodgers came back into that stadium, the crowd was nuts, and coming back down 20-0 and making the comeback he did, it was pretty incredible. And all record to Khalil Mack though, but it was mostly against Deshaun Kaiser as he got that interception for a touchdown and fumble and whatnot. So Aaron Rodgers, very, very good performance for him.
Well, thanks, Aaron. Coming up, week 1 of the NFL season is in the books, and Super Bowl predictions are being made. Find out who our reporters have finishing on top next.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family.
Openness. Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
The NFL season kicked off this past weekend, and some teams painted a picture of what their upcoming season may look like.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Case of the Week, to discuss this year's playoff contenders in the NFL. We bring in Kiera Fry, Aaron Becker, and Colton Tobias making his Pioneer Sideline debut. Welcome to the program, Colton.
Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate it.
And we're going to jump right into things, guys, here. Talking contenders in the AFC and NFC. Colton, since you're new to the show, how about you start off with your NFC top 3 teams?
Well, I guess in the NFC, I guess the team that brings me the most is the Los Angeles Rams. In my opinion, they have the best roster in all of football, including with the best running back in the league since Le'Veon is out with Todd Gurley, and the best defensive player with Aaron Donald. And I also have the Green Bay Packers because you got to give it to Aaron Rodgers. Like, I just couldn't believe that he came all the way back from 17 points down to beat Chicago on Sunday night. And my third NFC team, I would have to say the New Orleans Saints. Now, yes, they did lose to Tampa Bay in a shootout on Sunday, but I still believe that Drew Brees will be a MVP candidate. I believe he will be poised to have another 5,000 year passing yards, and there's just something about that team I really like, even though I do believe that the defense will struggle a little bit, but I do believe they have the offense to get back to Atlanta this year.
Now, those are top 3 solid picks right there, Colt. Now, Kiara, do you have something different from him, or you got a couple same teams?
Well,
or are you top 3?
I have 2 of the same teams, so I picked the Rams too because of Todd Gurley. I think he has the potential to really carry that team. I also said the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers. And then my last team was the Vikings because I think that their defense is extremely solid. It was solid last year, and I think it's strong this year too. So I think that that's definitely going to carry them far.
Now, that's a good pick with the Vikings. I know, Aaron, you probably have a lot to say. What are your 3 NFC teams?
Well, I think the biggest team we're all missing right now is the defending Super Bowl champions. And they only got better this offseason, adding Michael Bennett to that defense. So Eagles are still at the top of the game for me. I mean, the way they handled themselves on Thursday night against the Atlanta Falcons and handling Julio Jones. Yeah, Julio Jones is going to get his catches, but for them to come out on top and show still how dominant they are on defense. And again, let me remind you, Nick Foles is still playing. Carson Wentz is not back yet. So that's going to be the top team for me. And then I agree with them with the Minnesota Vikings at number 2. Kirk Cousins, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, they have a ton of playmakers. And we can't forget about that great defense last year as well, number 1. And probably the third one is going to be the LA Rams as well. The playmakers they added, Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib on defense, Aaron Donald, you can't forget. And then offensively, you got Todd Gurley and Jared Goff coming into his 3rd season. He looked good against the Raiders last night. So, yeah, those are my 3 teams.
Now let's jump over from the NFC to the AFC. Do the Patriots repeat getting back to their 3rd straight Super Bowl? Or do the Steelers solve some issues despite tying the Browns 21-21? Aaron, we'll start with you again and work our way back down the line.
I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars for the AFC. As much as it hurts me to say that it's not the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Jacksonville Jaguars defense are coming into their 2nd year. They got real close to Tom Brady and the Patriots in the AFC Championship last year, almost knocking them off. And I think they got them this year. And again, you have the Patriots and Steelers at 2 and 3 for me. Steelers, I'm going to keep them at number 3 still, below the Patriots until I can see them knock them off and get over that hump. But I'm going to give the AFC to the Jacksonville Jaguars right now.
Kiera?
I actually had the same 3 teams for the AFC.
In a different order, though?
I did have the Steelers before the Jaguars, though.
And what's your reasoning behind that?
I think that as long as Le'Veon Bell comes back, that they'll be able to perform better. I think that the main reason that we ended up tying with the Browns was because it was a mindset thing with missing such a key player. Even though James Conner was able to perform so well, it's still just a mindset thing when you're so used to having such a good player that's able to make those plays all the time.
And Colton, we'll finish off with you.
Well, as much as it hurts for me to say this too, I want my Pittsburgh Steelers to get back into the Super Bowl this year like everybody else. But I just think with just all the distractions with Le'Veon Bell, I don't think they'll be able to do. And I'm kind of with them. I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to make it to the Super Bowl. And the problem I have with the Steelers is, okay, look, I personally think they could be fine without James Conner. It's just they just have to stop playing down to their competition. I think it should just be they should just treat it as a normal week like everything else instead of kind of like, for an example, last year there was controversy about them moving on to New England instead of facing Jacksonville. And I was at that game, and I just couldn't believe my eyes that they lost that game. It was just hard to believe.
Now, before we get into, real quickly, we're going to do Super Bowl predictions. But you all said the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have one question for you. Blake Bortles, do you have confidence in him at the quarterback position?
It's a 50-50 game with him, but he played well. Listen, what Blake Bortles needs to do is, not do anything too crazy. He's got a great run game with Leonard Fournette and TJ Yeldon. Yeah, and we're hoping he's healthy for the Jacksonville Jaguars' sake. And, they lost some good receivers, and Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns, but if he's just plays smart football, hands the football off to Leonard Fournette and his running backs, and they have that great defense, I think they can get it done again. Like I said, they almost got done against the Patriots last year. So,
you guys have any thoughts on that?
Last year I said Blake Bortles was probably going to be a bust coming off a 3-13 season in his 3rd season in the NFL. But I mean, when he went off, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I think I was a little iffy in the start of the season, but I think I have confidence in Blake Bortles. I mean, you also got to mention he actually gave Tom Brady competition last year in the AFC Championship game. So I feel that if you can bring competition in a playoff game against probably the greatest quarterback that ever played this game, I seriously think Blake Bortles can get the job done and send the Jacksonville Jaguars to Atlanta in February.
Now we're running out of time here, so real quick, guys, in 2 words, who are your Super Bowl champions?
I am predicting the Los Angeles Rams to win the Super Bowl over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, Kiera?
I'm saying the Vikings over the Patriots.
Jaguars over Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings. That's a surprise pick there with Kirk Cousins there. That's definitely very interesting, guys. But, hey, thank you so much for joining us this week, guys. We appreciate it.
Be sure to join us next week at the same Pioneer time.
Same Pioneer channel.
And the same Pioneer Sideline.